Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we're gonna look up a channel that I enjoy called Rotten Mangoes, and I'm also equally very interested in a case by Luigi Mangione case, the assassin for the healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, and we're gonna watch this and see what's the latest news on Luigi Mangione because this story is very fascinating. So strap on your seatbelt. Here we go. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and like Rotten Mangoes, and more importantly, don't forget to subscribe and like my channel. I would appreciate it. I wanna do this as a career, and with your help, I hope I can do it. So thank you in advance. Let's enjoy the show.
Bada bing, bada boo.
December 4th,
Bada bing, bada boom.
2024, Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, is shot dead in front of his New York City hotel in Midtown Manhattan. 5 days later, in Pennsylvania, Luigi Mangione shouts at the press, "It is completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and their lived experience."
Completely out of touch and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and its lived experience.
This is what he screams before the police push him up against a brick wall to silence him, and they force him inside the courthouse. He is then charged with crimes related to the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. From Pennsylvania, Luigi Mangione is shipped out to New York, where he is once again arraigned for charges in connection with the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Then he's taken basically down the street to another courthouse, to the federal courthouse in New York City, where he is, for a third time, arraigned for the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. As we speak, Luigi Mangione faces 3 separate trials and charges for the events that allegedly he contributed to December of 2024. And it feels like all 3 jurisdictions are more or less in some sort of pissing contest to be the ones to take down 27-year-old Luigi Mangione. He has charges in Pennsylvania, which include forgery, carrying a firearm without a license, tampering with records of identification, possessing instruments of crime, and giving a false ID to an officer. Then in New York State Court, he has a total of 11 charges. Murder in the first degree in furtherance of an act of terrorism, murder in the second degree as a crime of terrorism, and murder in the second degree with a non-terrorism charge, along with 4 counts of third-degree criminal possession of a weapon, 2 counts of second-degree criminal possession of a weapon, and another fourth-degree criminal possession of a weapon, and 1 count of second-degree criminal possession of a forged instrument punishable up to 7 years. Then, federally, he is now facing another 4 charges for murder through the use of a firearm, stalking, resulting in death, and the use and possession of a firearm in relation to a violent crime, and interstate transportation of firearms and ammunition with intent to commit a felony. Luigi's top charges in the federal courts is punishable by the death penalty.
I tried death penalty cases throughout my career.
Wow.
If there was
You're
ever
gonna
a
do
death
the
case,
death penalty?
this is one. This guy's charged with a violent crime, and we're going to seek the death penalty whenever possible.
The federal government is seeking capital punishment against Luigi Mangione.
Whoa.
I will say that these charges are probably the more controversial parts
They're
of
gonna give it
his
to him.
case that's pending. A lot of people take issue with the terrorism charges in particular. People can sit and argue with each other all day long until the sun goes down about whether or not his alleged crime, if has been committed by Luigi, can be justified by the abysmal state of healthcare in the United States. That's just a debate. I don't really think you can convince one person or the other. If one person is so firm on it doesn't matter, breaking the law is breaking the law, and that will never be okay, I don't think that there is a way to even get them to see another perspective or vice versa. I just don't think it's possible. But I will say that across the board, people do have a problem with the fact that he has been charged with terrorism in New York State court. I think
Excessive.
the most perplexing part of this is
That's gonna
most school
backfire on them,
shooters
in
do
my
not even
opinion.
face
Just like with
terrorism
Diddy.
charges or even capital punishment, the death penalty. Some people argue it's a jurisdictional thing, but a lot of people say, no, it's not. It's, again, very subjective. And yet, Luigi Mangione
I
is
don't think
going
he
up
should get a
against
death penalty.
3 different court systems, 3 different sets of prosecutors, 3 different jurisdictions, and his defense team, all of whom we will dive deeper into once the trial begins. But we do have some familiar faces. His main lead attorneys on his cases in New York State and federal court are the Agnifilos. Karen Agnifilo and her husband, Mark Agnifilo, who also happen to be Sean Combs' lead defense counsel. They are coming in swinging. In each one of these court cases, they are arguing against these simultaneous trials. Side note, double jeopardy is a huge thing in the United States, which is the unlawful prosecution of a person twice for the same offense. There's a lot of legal debate about this. A lot of people in the legal field say technically it's not double jeopardy because he hasn't been prosecuted for a crime. So it's not like he's been tried, convicted, and then we're going to retry him. It's just simultaneously all of these court cases are actively pending. Karen Agnifilo, the lead defense attorney, she says the prosecutors, quote, they're trying to get 2 bites at the apple to convict Mr. Mangione. As a result of unprecedented prosecutorial one-upmanship, Mr. Mangione now faces 3 simultaneous prosecutions in 3 different jurisdictions, one of which is seeking the death penalty, while another is seeking life imprisonment, all for one set of facts. She has continued to call out police who, quote, methodically and purposefully trample on Luigi Mangione's constitutional rights. And there has just been so much argument about whether the terrorism charges are warranted, whether capital punishment is warranted, whether or not it's double jeopardy to have all 3 cases pending at the same time, which also means it's much harder for his legal defense team to focus down on one case specifically. It's a lot of legal loopholes that they have to jump through nonstop. We're going to be attending Luigi Mangione's New York State hearing September
Look at her.
16th in New York City. This hearing is important
She
for
still looks
a
like a high
variety of
school
different
kid.
reasons. There are a few things that are going to be discussed during this
Adorable,
hearing
cute.
that's going to be important, such as the terrorism charges. There is HIPAA violations that have been alleged where prosecutors have allegedly done some shady try and get some medical records that they were not supposed to be privy to. So all of that's going to be covered in the hearing, hopefully. And this video is also going to be different in the sense of a lot of people have been asking for vlogs. I know some of you guys are probably new to Rotten Mango, but we used to vlog, like I used to vlog my personal life back then. And I've since kind of stopped because all I do is work on cases and I didn't think that would be very riveting. But at the same time, people have been asking for a lot of the behind the scenes footage or information on how we work on our episodes. So this is kind of a combination of both. It's going to be a completely different video format than a regular Rotten Mango episode. So instead of just attending the hearing and then coming back to tell you about it, which is similar to how we've covered like the Sean Combs case, even during that, a lot of you guys have been asking, show us more about what's happening in real time at the courthouse as it's occurring. And so that is kind of what we're trying to do here. It's definitely a newer type of video and we just want to show you what happens more behind the scenes. Hopefully it's insightful. If not, just let me know. But I do think that for this case, it could be very important because it seems like a lot of people that are actively covering the case that are, I think leagues ahead of my expertise, or even just there are people that are actively trying to talk about all of the key elements in this case. A lot of them have been getting censored. A lot of maybe the behind the scenes of like how people are digging into this case has been, it's just been getting weird. So I'm going to take you guys to New York
Weird
and
how?
we're going to go to the
Please
hearing
tell.
together.
How weird? Weird how? Because like everyone's fascinated by this case, and everyone's trying to make a buck, right? So what measures are people taking? What length are they going through? I wonder if she can break that down.
Does anyone have the press passes? Yes.
I was supposed to go through all of the court documents last night, maybe even the day before, but I was working on a different case and I got like 300 pages of the court document, and then all of a sudden they just dropped 2,000 pages last minute, so I had to go through that.
So what are we looking at?
It's not that bad. So this is a compilation of some news articles, but mainly like the cases. So we have Pennsylvania, New York, federal. Not a lot of case files so far. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I guess good for me since I don't have a lot of time.
In Hawaii.
Oh yeah, and there's something from Hawaii.
What's going on in Hawaii?
It's just one page
Okay.
from 2023.
Oh, there's a case in Hawaii, or?
Violated a trail thing because sometimes they have like off-limit trails because it's so dangerous.
This stupid guy's
Oh, is that
calling
where
me
you took
about
the
garbage
picture?
bins. Are you serious, bro?
The photo looks like it's like
From one of those
Yeah.
trails. I saw people going on TikTok and going to that exact spot
What
to
is
take
with
the
those
photo.
glasses?
Where Luigi has the photo. Yes.
it's they say it like the
Yo,
Luigi
those glasses are
pilgrimage.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, he got in trouble for that.
I don't know if it's that exact height, but
Oh.
Hey, did we email Thomas Dickey?
Those glasses are insane,
You can
bro.
look on this table, and here's all the evidence I have right here, guys. Zoom in as close as you want to it. Nothing. I've seen nothing. I have nothing.
and both have nipples.
Nothing yet?
Nothing yet.
He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball between two warring jurisdictions here.
What did you say?
There's his signature.
That's his handwriting?
Oh no, Mark. It's Mark.
Oh, yeah.
It's Mark's signature.
I thought he just got brought on.
This is from
2024.
I think he's been on, but we only ever cared about Karen until we saw Mark in action.
Oh, yeah, he was in all the previous
Yeah.
hearings.
But I think
Mark.
But he was focused on Diddy's case, so.
yeah. A human law enforcement wall. Council received 7 terabytes of discovery, including body cam footage and other videos.
Whoa, what the hell? What's going on there?
We just landed in New York, and apparently the police has stopped by, just asking like what's going on to our lines.
Are they? Oh, they're camping outside. They're camping 19 hours until hearing.
Basically, people have problems with, well, like the first problem that people have is that he's being charged in Pennsylvania, New York, and then the federal case, SDNY. So, and it's technically all for the murder of Brian Thompson. And so people are saying, like, for a person killing another person, allegedly, you just don't really have cases where it's tried in 3 different jurisdictions. I mean, technically you can, legally it is allowed, but it just doesn't happen. So, like, that's the first thing. And New York State, the state case wants to go before the federal case. And then they're literally all fighting for Luigi. The state, they want to try their case before the feds. And they're adamant on it. And Luigi's defense is like, well, you can't because we're literally trying to fight a capital case, like capital punishment. Like, they want the freaking death penalty. That's the most important thing right now.
Wait, can you explain the 3 charges real quick?
Yes. Okay. So in
3 states.
Pennsylvania, he's got. That's where he was apprehended. Is in the McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, with the Altoona police. Those are. It's like forgery, his fake license. Remember, he had a fake license. The weapons. It's like all these little. I don't want to say small, but they're definitely smaller charges in Pennsylvania.
How long is he looking at there? Do we know? Like based on the charges? Not.
I mean, I don't think it really matters.
Oh, that's true.
These are like, the kind of like the smaller charges.
Yeah.
Then he gets extradited. Well, he doesn't get extradited. He waives extradition. He goes to New York. So New York State, NYPD, they do the perp walk. NYPD, they charge him with murder. And they're like, okay, and also terrorism. So they have the New York State case, which is the hearing that we're going to tomorrow. And then after that, the feds indict him. So now he's got the Pennsylvania case, New York State case, which are more serious charges. You've got murder, terrorism, you've got like all the weapons charges. And then the federal case, murder, that's capital punishment. That's what they're seeking, is the death penalty. So this is where it gets really crazy. They're all fighting for him right now. New York State, they want to try their case
Yeah,
first.
it's the #1
Karen
case in the
Agnifilo
world,
and
next to
the
Diddy.
whole defense team, they're like, no, you can't, because the feds are literally trying to kill my client. So no, that should be the most important thing.
Really?
The feds case has to go first. And the state is like, no. And then Pennsylvania is like, hello, don't forget about us. We need Luigi for a hearing in November. So Luigi's attorney, Thomas Dickey, he is only representing him in the Pennsylvania case. They're like, no, Luigi's not going to show up on Zoom. He's not going to do a video conference because, like, we're not doing this with you guys. Pennsylvania is like, well, you better. And his attorney is like, no, you can't make us. If you want Luigi, you got to get him in person. So the Pennsylvania DA is emailing Jay Clayton of the SDNY, the feds, and the feds are like, respectfully and unrespectfully and disrespectfully, fuck off. They're like, nope, you're not getting Luigi in
What do you
person.
mean?
Oh, let me get the email. Pennsylvania just wants him for a hearing.
They won't take a Zoom.
Luigi's team does not want to take a Zoom, and I totally get why they don't want to.
Luigi's team just want them to hold off.
No, Luigi's team is saying, like, we have 3 different jurisdictions in a pissing contest for our client, and, like, they're literally playing with our client's life. Just so that they can say what? That they're, you know?
Yeah.
So they're saying, if you want him, come get him, and they're all just, like, fighting for Luigi. But this email is actually insane. Let me find this email. Dear Mr. Weeks, which is the Blair County DA in Pennsylvania, as we discussed, the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York respectfully declines to authorize the physical return of defendant Luigi Mangione to your jurisdiction while the federal criminal charges in U.S. v. Mangione are pending. The United States intends to keep custody of the defendant until the conclusion of the federal prosecution, including sentencing. Accordingly, our office will instruct the U.S. Marshals, because Pennsylvania was like, put in an order to the U.S. Marshals.
She's so excited
that we need
over
it
this.
for the hearing.
She is really excited.
Transport him back to Pennsylvania for the hearing, take care of him, and then bring him back to you. But now they're saying, accordingly, our office will instruct the U.S. Marshals not to honor any writ seeking to take custody of the defendants to appear in your jurisdiction. Yeah, basically saying, disrespectfully, no.
Wow.
The feds are like, we're not releasing him until after sentencing, which could literally be death.
Yes, and it's crazy because the federal cases, it's like a whole other thing. They're trying to push the trial for mid to late 2026. Luigi's defense is saying, hey, most capital punishment cases, they don't even start like the commencement of a trial for like 48 months. This is like
way too fast.
This is crazy. We don't have time to prepare for something like this. And then on top of that, there are so many problems. So that's just the federal case that's the problem. Oh, there's other problems with the federal case. Who am I kidding? So in the federal case, they were monitoring his calls. At the MDC, there's 2 different phone lines that you can use, that inmates can use. So the first phone line is like an attorney phone line. They cannot record those phone conversations. It's literally just attorneys with the inmates. It's protected. Then you have the second, which is a regular phone line. I think inmates get like a certain number of minutes. They can call their friends, they can call their family, but a lot of inmates actually end up calling their attorneys through that line. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a reason for it, whether it's easier, whether it's quicker to access your attorney, whether it's just like a less friction way, but it seems like lots of inmates talk to their attorneys there. Luigi is on a phone call with Karen Agnifilo, his lead attorney, and that is recorded, and one of the paralegals at the prosecution team, one of the prosecutor's paralegals, listened to a portion of it before they realized it was Karen Agnifilo.
But that's what they're saying.
That's what they're
Or
saying.
In quotes, right?
Yeah, and so they're saying, like, it's a mistake. And then they're also saying it's, like, kind of y'all's fault because why wasn't he using the attorney phone line? And, like, in the beginning of each phone call from this side, it tells you, like, all calls are going to be recorded. So, like, technically, it's y'all's fault. So that was, like, the whole mishap with the federal thing. Well, there's other mishaps, too, and it gets very political. It's the fact that it was, Luigi's defense team is saying this has become so political in the sense that it's not even really the justice system anymore, is kind of what they're saying in their, like, motions, is the Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was appointed by
Pam
Trump,
Bondi's an
she
idiot.
was the one that came out and said, we are going to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione. And
She's
she
a
also
moron.
did not give him any sort of presumption of innocence. Never said allegedly, never said we're going to get
And
to the
she's
bottom
corrupt.
of like why he did this, if he did this. Like, it was nothing like that. The wording was very strong. It was incredibly passionate towards his assumption of guilt, which is not how the justice system works. She makes that statement, and then 2 weeks later, they're seeking capital punishment. Luigi's defense team is saying, like, how can we get
See what I
a
mean?
proper jury in here when even the Attorney General of the United States is not even giving our client the presumption of innocence until proven guilty?
Because she's
So
corrupted.
that's a whole issue with the federal case. Then the New York State case, that
needs
the
to be
hearing that we're
fired.
going to tomorrow, there's so many problems there. And I think that this is going to be probably the biggest problem that's going to be covered tomorrow, is what I'm thinking, but is the DA's office, Manhattan DA's office, they do a subpoena to Aetna Healthcare. They're like, hey, Aetna, Luigi was a client of yours. We need his member ID number, and we're gonna need the time period that he was under your care, like under your, I don't know if it's like insurance or whatever, under your care. They're like, we need it by May 23rd, 2025. And you need to give it to us by May 23rd, 2025, which is like a court proceeding date. Otherwise, you're going to be held in contempt of court. Yeah, criminal contempt of court, Aetna. And you might be fined up to like $100,000. Also, like, you can just mail it or deliver it. Also, here's the contact information. And they give the DA's office. So they're saying there's so many problems with that, the defense is saying. First of all, they bypass the court. Anytime that you're supposed to get these types of records, they actually are supposed to send it to the court, not to the DA's office. But they're like, hey, just contact the DA's office if you have questions. So they're just bypassing the court, going straight to the DA's office. Aetna is like, okay, here are the records. They give the records. What did the prosecutors ask for? Member ID and time period, right? They get back 120 pages. That sounds like a lot more than member ID and time period, right? However, the DA's office in Manhattan is like, let's just like take a look. Let's take a look. It's privileged medical documents. It's literally HIPAA violation after HIPAA violation is what the defense is arguing. This is like statements Luigi Mangione has personally made to his doctors. It's medical diagnosis, all in this 120-page document, where at the very top of the first page of every freaking file, the first page of every file reads, request for protected health information. And so they're saying, why do you guys go through that? Okay. Now the prosecutors, they realize this. They've already opened it up. One of the prosecutors has opened it up, scrolled through it, and then they're saying, oh, we just realized we're not supposed to be seeing this right now. Because, like, technically, this is HIPAA. Even if there's a criminal case pending, you cannot just, you have to get an order from the judge that's like, yeah, you can get the medical records, or you have to get consent from Luigi Mangione or whoever the defendant may be, which neither of those things has happened. So this is like, you cannot access these files. Now, the prosecution come out and they say, actually, this was Aetna's erroneously sent files. We asked member ID and the time period. They sent us privileged information. Aetna is like, no. Aetna tells CNN, no. We gave what we were asked for. That's all we're saying. They're like, that's it. That's all we're saying. We gave what we were asked for. And then the prosecutors are also saying, hey, so Aetna fucked up. And then guess who fucked up again? Luigi's defense team. Because they emailed us back the files. So, like, they resent the prosecutors the files. They were like, hey, I don't know, they're just accusing them of resending them the files. Now, Luigi's defense has now put in another response. This was in August, so like a month ago, right? And they're saying, first of all, you're so nonsensical. I mean, I will say that this letter is pretty scathing. They're like, you guys are so nonsensical. We responded to your email, and you fucking had the files attached.
Oh,
Hey,
they just hit reply.
Your voice is too cute
reply
sounding
to be
to
like,
be
what are you
swearing
doing?
like this.
Yeah.
Stop
Why do you have
swearing.
this? We hit reply to be like, hello.
Wow.
And then they're like, what do you mean we have compounded the effect or like the erroneous errors because that's basically what they said in the prosecutor's response. So Luigi's defense is like, hello? And then they're also saying, but you know what's even crazier? First of all, they were really crazy in this email or this document. They're like, first of all, use common sense. You asked for his member ID and the term, you get 120 pages back. You don't even think about fucking HIPAA? That's what they're saying. And then the second thing that they're saying is, it's actually crazy because nothing was scheduled for May 23rd, 2025. So that subpoena that they made to Aetna, they're like, we need this for this court date, May 23rd, 2025. The defense is like, nothing was scheduled that day. So you made up a date to compel them to give you this information by said date. When that date, there was nothing on that date. That's all.
So they lied.
That's insane.
Yeah, so I think the argument is going to be that, like, technically, I guess they just needed a date, like a deadline, but the defense is arguing, like, state code says that when you give a date for a subpoena, it's a designated, like, there is usually a court hearing or, like, something is happening on that date that they need those records. Like, you don't just, like, subpoena someone and you just say, you know what, let me just say 2 weeks from now. So that has been the main. I mean, there are other arguments, like the fact that this argument is going on in Pennsylvania and it's going on simultaneously across all of the different cases, but he was not read his Miranda rights immediately when they are arguing that it seemed like he was pretty much detained from the minute that the Altoona Police Department stepped into the McDonald's. They had like 7 to 8 different officers blocking his exit. Meanwhile, they're telling him he's free to go. They also searched his belongings without having the proper search warrant. Now, the Altoona Police Department, they are arguing, and, this is
that's
interesting.
a big problem, though.
Body cam footage.
We don't have
the body
right
cam footage,
and
but obviously the defense has it because it's in discovery, and they were saying in another motion that was filed that the body cam footage depicts Altoona Police Department going through his backpack. And they're saying that they did not have like the proper search warrant for this. Like, this is protected in his Fourth Amendment rights. Like, you can't just search people's stuff. And at the point, they point out that the police officer who's going through his belongings notices, and it seems like they're hinting at, like, okay, the vibe that they're hinting at is she's going through his backpack. And it's like, fuck, I shouldn't be going through his backpack. So then she says, I just gotta make sure there's not a bomb in here. Oh. She says something along those lines.
What?
Wow.
And the defense team is saying, you knew what you were doing when you said that, because if you genuinely thought that there was a bomb, you would have vacated the premises, the civilians, like, you would have secured everything, you would have called in a bomb squad. Like, they're saying, we already felt that it was not a proper search, but the fact that you even said that makes it even more sus. Okay, that's, like, obviously not the legal way of saying it, but I'm just, like, informing you what's happening. And then there's problems with the terrorism charge. Like, lots of back and forth with the terrorism charge. Unless it's, like, jury nullification.
You want to explain what jury nullification means?
Yeah, jury nullification, to put it simply, because I do feel like it's a very sensitive topic that is heavily monitored these days, but jury nullification is when the jury gets together and, to put it simply and casually, they say, hey, you know, I know, your brother knows. He did the damn thing. And it's a crime. But, like, we refuse to.
Reddit says, this is one of the most controversial and beautiful areas of criminal law. I can't do your question justice with a response. Generally, you can't talk about it. What?
Oh, yeah, I think, you can't talk about it, as in, I don't think it's ever included in any of the court's orders when they talk to the jury. Yes, so that's why a lot of people in New York are getting, like, jury nullification, educate yourself on jury nullification billboards without even putting Luigi's name on there, because they just want anyone in this jurisdiction to understand jury nullification and to see it as an option. Because when you get to the courtroom, they're not going to say at the very end, here are the jury instructions, here are your options.
Jury nullification is not an official part of legal procedures, and judges do not instruct jurors about it. but it is a power that comes from the jury's independence and the protection against being punished for their verdict. Huh.
Oh, by the way, did you know about jury nullification? It's just part, probably, of the legal code. So, and then another problem is with the Fed case, since we're talking about jury nullification, is that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, was appointed
Loser.
by Trump. Jay Clayton, the attorney for the SCNY, he was also elected by Trump, if I'm not mistaken. So it just seems like there's a lot of political connections. And then if you know anything about the Agnifilo family, they're very politically active as well, to be obviously on the very opposite side of Trump. Karen Agnifilo does segments on Midas Touch. It's a network, a political network, very famously opposing Trump. So there's lots of there's so many
Political
layers
issues. Yeah.
stuff going on in this one. But there is I gotta find the part with the body cam. Oh, okay. And then also the terrorism charges. The way that the prosecutors are saying it's terrorism, the defense is saying.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna stop the video right here because I don't want this video to be too long. This is all like an hour and a half. Yeah, I don't want to make it too long. But you guys can leave a comment down below and let me know if you like when I break it up, because I'll do a part two of this. I'll do a part two of this, or if you rather I just go from start to finish. But just let me know what you want me to do. Anyway, it's a great video. Um, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please leave your comments down below and have yourself a good rest of your day. Peace.